I'm Jan Smady. Today, we lean forward and look into the future with Cecily Sommers, author of Think Like a Futurist. Victoria Amaris, Bill Starr, and Bob Guyan gaze into the crystal ball and learn how to frame their thoughts about the unknown.
As a futurist, there are really a couple things that I want to focus on with people. And one is to understand what's changing and why. And then secondly, the whole purpose is so that you can imagine yourself in that future. So let's take a field trip into the future. Our first stop is the historic grain exchange. Once the hub of grain trading and major economic base from the turn of the 20th century, it is now an example of a new workplace, presenting a different type of productivity. This is where people come together who are software designers. They are developing new companies and they're startups and they're venture capitalists. They are working on education and healthcare, moving our world forward, and they're doing it as often small businesses. As we go from these mass industrial producers, we're moving now to the locus of production and distribution being that of the individual. We see that with 3D printing. And a really big one as the next industrial revolution comes forward, what's known as the Internet of Things.
This is the internet. Well, maybe not the internet you're used to. This little guy connects to the internet over Wi-Fi. And when he does, he brings along whatever he's connected to. Power outlets, buttons, cameras, remote control cars. And when the internet spills over into the real world, exciting things happen, like toys that learn, or lights that know when you're home.
I met with Zach Supala, founder and CEO of Spark Labs, to talk a little bit about what they are doing to bring the Internet of Things to your home. Tell us what Spark Labs is and what it is that you're about to launch.
Sure, but we really believe, well, there's this opportunity to bring products online, to take everyday things that you have in your home and to give them an internet connection, to make them more powerful. And so we thought the problem with these products is they're incredibly difficult to create. What if we make a toolkit that an engineer can use to make an internet-connected product? So hopefully we can help seed the market with a lot more of these types of smart, intelligent, connected products. So we created this new product, which is called the Spark Core. And it's a small circuit board, the beginnings of a connected product, the brain of a connected product. And so I could plug an LED or a sensor into each one of these pins. And then using the app, I could turn the LED on and off, or I could read the value from the sensor. And this is an incredibly powerful tool for an engineer because you don't have to write any software code. You can just start playing with hardware. There are consumer applications, there are industrial applications, there are commercial applications, so opportunities for smart offices where they behave differently when there's people there, when there's not people there, based on reading signals from smartphones or whatever it might be. There are so many things that have the potential to come online. This is why we call this the Internet of Things.
Imagine in the Internet of Things universe, you're going to have in your bathroom sensors that will detect what your breath chemistry is like. When you brush your teeth, what the saliva holds, urine, feces, all the rest of it is going to get an instant picture of your health state this morning. That data gets sent out to your medical files, certainly, but maybe your personal coaches, maybe to your calendar, and to your kitchen. In your kitchen, it's going to give you a printed dietary report of what you should eat today to keep your nutrition optimal. It's going to give instructions to, again, one of those 3D printers this time. It's going to print out your medication titrated to be exactly what you need to be for today. All of that is going to be connected.
Cecily Sommers, we are delighted to have you join us, a real futurist. And I already said, and I'll say it again now so everyone, it knocked me up against the side of the head. Why am I sounding so negative about the future, particularly after listening to what you just shared with us? But seriously, can you put some framework for us around how we should think about the future?
Yes.
Good. Yes, good.
Yeah, well, there are two things that really affect our future. And one is understanding how the world changes, what conditions of the future will look like, how we might begin to imagine.
Yeah.
how we, that really, the future is a concept, right? It really lives only in our imagination. So how we engage our imagination to think about, what future will I have? What do I want to plan for? What should I be on the look for? All of that is really a matter of how we engage our imagination. So that's one piece, thinking. The other piece is understanding how the conditions change. And to do that, I follow 4 forces. I use that as a scanning model to see what's coming up from the periphery, emerging, that we need to be on the lookout for.
And what are those 4 forces?
Thanks for asking.
I want the answers.
The 4 forces. The 4 forces are resources, technology, demographics, and governance. These are the 4 forces that shape any society. Because if we look at what society is really all about, it's just about creating a group of people who want to work and live together.
All right.
Right? So it's essentially an economic unit, and people are going to have to make use of the raw materials that they have around them, what kind of wood and water and animal and plant that they have to make life happen. Technology is the next force, and then we need the tools. So how do we harvest value from all of those raw materials and then make our life that much better? Build shelter, create more food, start to build things and be more productive as a group. Who's a part of that group? Demographics is the next force. And so we want to take a look at what is the distribution of age.
Hello.
Hello.
Here we are.
Workforce.
Yeah.
Right? And also gender, so that we can keep going as a society. And then lastly is governance, which is the human agency in which we try to manage how do we cooperate together as this productive unit. What are the rules? Rule of law is a part of every governmental or governance structure, just like rules of the house at home. Mm-hmm. And also rules of the market. When we start to make new things, it establishes new value in the marketplace, and suddenly things shift. Or there might be new values that arise of it as a result of it, right? So, and then social movements happen.
Uh-huh.
That's how change happens among us. But it's always in response to what are our raw materials? What are the tools that we have to start inventing and building a new future? Who do we have in our midst to do it? And then how are we going to manage all of that together?
What is it that you need to say to someone my age to say, get in there, be a part of it, Jan?
You know, for every person at every age, it's about relevancy, right? You know, you want to create value, contribute value, be valued. And so thinking about the future is really about, can we imagine, where do I belong? What's my role? What are the primary roles that have always defined me and give me meaning? And you want to be able to create from that place. So if you're feeling like your productive years are limited, it's only because it's productive according to what you already know, what you used to do. The exercise in thinking about the future is, how are you going to now create meaning and relationships and community and a productive life at any age? But you have to be able to prepare for that. You have to be able to imagine, what will my life be like? What will home be like? What will community be like? But you're still generating from that same place of, it matters, I matter, relationships matter. And those are the things that never change. Never change, they're constant over time, human needs. And so that's what you really want to hold on to.
It's just my changing my definition a bit, but I'm still as vibrant and creative as I allow myself to be. And age really should have no.
And you are perfectly equipped to adapt. Mm-hmm. The only thing that you have to do is to know how to think about it.
All right.
Because once you can think about it, you can imagine that, and then once you imagine it, you start acting. So we visited the future and we saw the leading edge of this fourth industrial revolution with the Internet of Things. If at any point you felt yourself go, yuck, that's not for me, don't worry. It's perfectly human to feel that way. You see, when we try to envision the future, the brain pulls from your existing memories to fill in those blanks of new situations. So you know exactly what I'm going to say at the end of this sentence. How do we bring our brains and thoughts into a more robust way of dealing with this world that is changing so quickly? you have to create new memories. We do that by diving into new experiences like visiting the Salt Cave or by looking through the camera obscura on the Northrop Mall. You experience new perspectives. Our brains record that, and it is literally going to pop an idea, a thought, a possibility, or an association. So, as you perceive the world around you changing, with this new perspective, you can now cast yourself in it. One of the important things to understand and embrace is that the future is just a concept. It only lives in our minds. How we exercise our creativity and imagination is the future. What we imagine and are drawn to create is how the future continues to evolve. And exercising your imagination is how you get to be a part of that future.